Salam alaikum. My name is George, but I go by the name Fishmonger Stories. Can I tell you a story? Are you ready for a story? Once upon a time, hapo zamani za kale, Chongilala, a camel driver was leading his camels from his village through another village on his way to Timbuktu. As he passed this village, he noticed a walled orchard. He knew it was a walled orchard because hanging from that wall was a peach tree. And on one of the branches of the peach tree hang three juicy, succulent peaches. So juicy and ripe that nectar was pouring down from the peaches onto the ground, and ants were scouring to enjoy this nectar. The camel driver was all of a sudden gripped with so much envy and jealous, and he said, Mwenyezi Mungu subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh God, why is life so unfair that I have to leave my wife and son at home while some people, they sit in their orchards with their wife and children enjoying, while I walk in this hot desert every day looking for riziki. How can life be so cruel? Inside the walled orchard, the orchard owner was sitting on a stool, and he looked outside through his gate. He saw the camel driver approaching. He too was gripped with so much envy and jealous and said, Mwenyezi Mungu subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh God, how can life be so cruel that I have to stay here digging the land so I can get riziki, while some people, they get to walk here and there enjoying the beautiful country of ours. How can life be so unfair? While the two men were gripped in their own misery, the lead camel walked slowly and stretched its neck and took a bite of the three juicy, succulent peaches. When the orchard owner saw this, he was gripped with so much anger, he picked up a stone and he launched it towards the camel. The stone hit the camel on the forehead and the camel dropped dead. When the camel owner saw this, he picked up the same stone spontaneously and he launched it back towards the orchard owner. Unfortunately, the orchard owner did not move out fast enough, and the stone hit him on the temple and he fell down dead, quickly. When the camel driver saw this, he did not mean to kill the orchard owner. So he looked around to see if anybody had seen him. Then he took a knife from his pocket and he cut the rope that was tied from the dead camel to the second camel, and he made the second camel become the lead camel, and he tried to run away before anybody could see him. He tried to run away. But little did he know that the two sons of the orchard owner had seen him. And they came out flying from the gates and ran and put hands on him and laid hands on him and said, Murderer, 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 you have killed our father. You have killed our father. Life for life, blood for blood, death for, you have killed our father. And the camel driver said, I'm sorry, I did not mean to kill your father. I'm so sorry. Please, here, please, accept. He took out a gold bag. Please accept this blood money for the life of it. He said, no, we don't want your blood money. We don't want your gold. Life for life, death for death, blood for blood. You have killed our father. We will never be able to drink chai with our father again. We will never be able to eat baklava with a life for life, death for death, blood for blood. Please, don't kill me. I have a wife and a son. And life for life, said the sons. The commotion, attracted a big crowd. And the crowd came and said, what did this man do say? He killed our father. Life for life, death for death, blood for blood. Screamed the two orchard sons. And they said, take him to the judge. And they dragged the camel driver through the streets all the way to the judge's home. The judge was eating. He washed his hands, dropped down the towel and said, "What's the matter?" He came out. And the two orchard sons of the orchard said, "This man has killed our father. Life for life, death for death, blood for blood," they said. And the judge said, hold on. Camel driver, what say you?" And the camel driver, he looked at the judge and said, "Your Honor, I did not mean to kill the orchard man. It was an accident. It was an accident. He killed my lead camel. Please, accept blood money. Here is gold. Accept blood money. I have a wife and a son at home. Please." And the judge, he turned to the sons of the orchard man and said, "This man clearly did not mean to kill your father. Will you accept the blood money? Will you accept the gold that he's offering?" And the two sons of the orchard man said, "No! Life for life, death for death, blood for blood. He has killed our father. We will never be able to have our father again." And the judge, he turned to the camel driver and said, "I'm sorry. They will not accept your blood money. Life for life. I'm sorry, you have to forfeit your life." And the judge snapped his finger, and out came the executioner, holding a sharp, long sword, sharpened for execution, sharpened to perfection, sharpened for execution, with a prayer mat rolled. And he unrolled the prayer mat. And the executioner, he told the camel driver, "Kneel down, say your last prayers." And the camel driver, he knelt down. Moments ago, he was on his way to Timbuktu to meet other businessmen. And now he was a condemned man about to die. And he knelt down and water was brought. He washed his hands, he washed his ears, he washed his nose and his mouth. And he knelt down and he started to pray. As he stopped in the middle of prayer and said, "Judge, Your Honor, am I not a condemned man?" And the judge said, "Yes." "Well, if I'm a condemned man, don't I have one request?" And the judge said, "I suppose you do." "Well, Your Honor, my request is I would like to go back to my village for 3 days and 3 nights. Then I will come back." And the judge said, How can I honor such a request? You are a condemned man, but nevertheless, well, if there's anybody who can stand in your place, then you can go. The crowd is here. Ask anyone if there's anyone who is willing to stand in your place. Then you may go. And the camel driver, he looked at the crowd and he said, "Is there anyone, please, who can stand in my place so I can go back to my village for 3 days and 3 nights? I promise, I give you my word, I will come back." And the people, they booed and jeered him and said, "Accept your fate. Accept your fate. Just kneel down and say your last prayers." They booed him. But there was a voice at the back that said, "I will." And the people, they looked back and said, "Who is that?" There was an old man who came shuffling. And the people told, "Old man, umjui. Achana na huyu jamaa. Umjui huyu jamaa. You don't know this man. You owe him nothing. Don't do this." And the old man, he shuffled his way to the front and said, "Your Honor, I will take his place." And the judge said, "Old man, do you know what this means?" And the old man, he said, "Yes, Your Honor, I know what this means. If the camel driver does not come back, then you forfeit your life." "Yes, Your Honor, I know." And the judge said, "Well, the old man, he was shackled and taken to the dungeon. The camel driver, he was released and given 1 camel. As soon as he was released, the camel driver, he got up and he jumped onto the camel, kukuru kakara, leaving behind a big cloud of dust, and he disappeared into the horizon." Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Nikwaramogi, can I tell you a story? Are you ready for a story? The old man was thrown into the dungeon. Day 1, alone in the dungeon, cold with nothing but mice. Day 2, alone in the dungeon, cold with nothing but mice. Day 3, alone in the dungeon with nothing but cold and mice. And on the 4th day, the camel driver did not show up. On the 5th day, the camel driver did not show up. The judge tried to hold out as much as he could, but he knew justice had to be met. Justice had to be served. And so he said, bring out the old man from the dungeon. So they brought the old man from the dungeon, and the judge snapped his finger, and out came the executioner holding a long sword, sharpened to perfection, sharpened for execution. And he spread the mat, the prayer mat, and told the old man, prepare to meet your maker. Say your last prayer. The old man, he knelt down, and water was brought. He washed his hands, he washed his ears, his nose and his mouth, and he started to say a prayer. And he looked up at the executioner and said, make it a clean cut. One cut. Make it a clean cut. And he bowed down, and he parted the hair from his back of his neck, and he got ready. The executioner, he took the sharp knife, the sharp sword, and he put it on the back, on the neck of the old man, and he lifted it once, and he put it back, and he lifted it again, and he put it back. The 3rd time, he lifted it, ready for the cut. And somebody said, stop, look. And the crowd turned. Someone is coming. And they looked, and indeed they could see from the horizon, someone was galloping with a camel, a big cloud of dust. His face was covered from the dust. His face was covered from the element. And the crowd, they looked, and this man came closer and closer, and he parted the crowd, and he jumped down from the camel, and he went and he picked up the old man and said, old man, you won't die today. And this person uncovered his face, and the crowd was shocked. It was the camel driver. He had come back. He came back. Oh my goodness. Why did he come back? The crowd was in shock. The crowd was in disbelief. And the camel driver, he picked up the old man and said, old man, I'm here. I'm ready to die. I'm here. Please get up. And he lay down, and water was brought. He started to wash his hands and his face, and the judge said, stop. Camel driver, where did you go? And why did you come back late? And the camel driver, he said, your honor, in my village, an old widow entrusted me with all her jewelry. And if I died here without giving her back her jewelry, people would have said, I ran away with her jewelry. People would have said, I am a thief. And my family would have been condemned as thieves. My future generations would have been condemned as thieves. I am not a thief. So I went back to restore her jewelry back to her. And when I wanted to come, my son did not want me to leave. My son cried and cried and cried. And I sang to him lullaby and lullaby until my son fell asleep. And I lay him down. And I hugged my wife one last time. And that's why I'm late. But I'm here, I'm ready to die. I'm ready to die. He lay down. And the judge said, hold on. Old man, why did you take the place of the camel driver? And the old man, he said, your honor, I was brought up in a world where a man's word is his bond. He made a promise that he would come back. I believed him. And if he didn't come back, then I would rather die than to live in a world where a man's word is not his bond. I'd rather die than to live in that kind of world. And the judge, he said, well, me too, as a judge, I was brought up to know that without mercy, there is no judgment. Without compassion, there is no judgment. And that's why I'm telling you today, he pointed the two sons of the orchard man, that no blood will be shed today. You will accept blood money. And the two sons said, Your Honor, yes, we will accept blood money. We realize that the camel driver is an honorable man and it was an accident. And so we will accept blood money. And the judge invited the four men into his chambers. The gold was weighed and given to the sons of the orchard man. And chai and baklava was brought, and pomegranate wine was brought. And the four men, they drank chai and pomegranate wine. And they talked and talked about life, about death, about justice. End of story. If you like the story, share it with 5 people. Until then, saisere, gracias, shukra, arigato, dankeschön, sheshe, zaijien, katonda kusereke, firmilenge, tuti ndadong, arom, gibao, makanera. May I grow to be as tall as the tallest tree in my uncle's homestead. Salam alaikum.